Welcome to the channel. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Now join me on today's video where I will be reviewing the Cadisen C8185. Now I reviewed this watch about 4 months ago on this channel, and about time I reviewed it, they just had come out with this green dial version, and I was very interested in this. So I went back to the seller and I asked for the green dial version, but they asked me to hold on as they do have an upgrade that is coming up. Now the upgrade they did on this version, they just increased the water resistance to 100 meters and they added a screw down crown. I did inform the seller and that I reviewed watches, so they decided to send me this watch for free, and that's why you see in the top left corner that it is a paid promotion. Now back when I did review the watch, it absolutely exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect a lot from this watch considering it was only £60 then, and this watch is also around £60 or $80. Now why is this watch so good for the money? Why is it so special? As you know, we do get a lot of high spec watches from Aliexpress on such low price points, but I felt with this watch everything is just executed so well, and for £60 I think this is probably the better value for money watches out there, and I think for the money you'd be hard pressed to find something which is equivalent to this. So what do you get for your £60? Well, specifications wise, you get a full stainless steel case, you get a sapphire crystal, you get automatic Japanese movement, which is a Miyota 8285, and as mentioned, full stainless steel construction. And with the upgrade, you also now get 100 meters of water resistance. But as I mentioned, there's a lot of watches that give you a lot for your money and give you very similar specifications. And I think what separates this Cadisen here is how well executed everything is. It's surprising how much they can do for so little money. That being said, let me take you around the watch. So let's start off with dimensions. The watch case is just under 40mm, is 39.8 millimeters. You have a thickness of 11.3 millimeters and a log to log of 48.3. Now, while some people will prefer smaller dimensions, I think they suit the watch just fine. A 40mm diameter isn't too bad. The log to log is again just right, and it should suit a variety of wrists, but it does make it a lot more small wrist friendly. Now, some of the things which did stand out for me on this watch and why I think it's great value for money, you have this really highly polished case. Now, the polishing has been done really well. The case shape is really nice and very smooth polishing. No defects at all. Now, another thing which I wanted to look at was this fluted bezel. Now, for £60, I'd expect a slightly rough fluted bezel or something which just looks cheap and tacky. But this is really, really well done. See, the fluting is perfect. There's no defects on it, and in hand it feels really smooth and highly polished and very well done. Now, this being a dressier watch, there's a lot of polished surfaces on there, and if you look a lot closer at the hands, you'll see the applied hour markers are also polished, but not only that, they're also beveled on either side, and this gives you really nice interaction with the light. As you can see, it's just glistening away. And the main thing why I wanted this watch was, as mentioned, that green dial. I think this dial is absolutely gorgeous. It's a emerald green sunburst fume style dial, and you can see the different tones of green that are clearly visible. It goes from a very deep emerald green almost to a dark or a black around the edges depending on the light. Now, that coupled with the polished hour markers and this fluted bezel, it makes the watch really glisten in the sunlight. So it looks like a very good jewelry watch. It makes it look a lot more expensive than it is, and I think, you know, because the finishing is so well executed, it really does suit the watch. Actually very impressed how Cadisen managed to do this. A closer look at the dial shows that you've got a mixture of printed features and applied features. So with the printing, below the applied Cadisen logo at the 12, you've got Cadisen automatic in white text, and above the 6 you've got 10 ATM waterproof 21 joules. Now around the dial you've got a printed minute track which looks like railroad tracks. In the rehaut area you've got Cadisen engraved, which we saw on the previous model. The magnification window at 3 o'clock, it looks aligned to me, and the magnification is okay. It does magnify it, but there's hardly any distortion, so it is a good quality magnification. The hands used, you've got these baton style hands, again chamfered, and the second hand is fully polished, again, which helps the watch really shine when it is in the light. Now you do have a day function at the 12 and a date function at 3 o'clock. So the movement that is powering this watch, I mentioned, is a Miyota 8285. It's a 21 joule movement. It beats at 21,600 vibrations per hour, and it is also hacking and winding with the date day complication. And you know what? Overall, the movement is quite reliable. It is quite accurate as well. This one's running around the 6 to 8 seconds a day. I'll put it in the time grapher. I'll put some pictures up. And what you'll notice going through the 4 different positions is that the beat rate stays somewhat consistent, but it does fluctuate quite a bit between the 4 different positions. And this is where I think the more higher value movements, they have less fluctuation between positions. But as you'll wear this watch, obviously it's going to go through a whole load of different positions while it's on your wrist, and you'll get a better idea once you wear it how accurate it actually is. Now, there are a couple of criticisms on the dial. I don't think you need the applied logo and the text below it. I think that part does look a bit busy. Either or is fine for me. I mean, the logo's pretty slick, so they could do with just having a logo probably a bit thicker, a bit closer to how the hour markers are, just to make it stand out quite a bit. And then you can remove that white text. The other thing on the dial is the Roman numerals. I'm sure that's meant to be a single baton with a V. Not a fan of Roman numerals. I do prefer there to be just baton-like markers on this style of watch, but you know, this is a subjective thing. Not everyone likes these numerals, and there are some people that do. But you know, just have a closer look at some of the numerals. They are done to actually quite a high level. I'm quite impressed how well they've been polished, and as mentioned, they are chamfered, so they do catch the light pretty nicely. Turning the watch around, you'll notice on the crown there is a Cadisen logo, and as I mentioned to you guys before, it does screw down now. So the day date functions similar to the Seiko NH35, where it goes through stages, so it goes half at a time. Now what you'll notice, it is quite a mechanical sound. And let's turn the watch around. And there we have the Miyota. Now, if you further wanted to regulate this movement, it is absolutely possible because you've got the regulation. Let me just move this out of the way. Down there. So you can adjust the beat error and also the speed of the watch. Now, it is a display case back, and you've got some engravings around the side which give you the specifications of the watch. Moving on to the bracelet. It is a 22mm end link, and you've got female end links, solid links, and you've got this present style of bracelet, and you've got brushed sides with the center links being polished, which is absolutely fine because it is this style of watch. Now, you do have a butterfly clasp. The bracelet also has a taper from 22 down to 17mm, and I think that's a nice taper. And with these present style links, you'll see they are like half links, so you're going to have really good articulation on the bracelet, and it's going to give you a very comfortable fit. Now, with regards to butterfly clasp, it's nothing special. It's probably the cheapest part of the watch. How do I feel about them? You know what, I've got a couple of watches with these clasps, and they're not too bad. It does give you a seamless look when it's on wrist, and they are extremely comfortable. So I think this is probably the best choice for this style of watch. You can go with the fully milled clasp, but I think they will be a bit bulky for this watch and probably add a bit of weight down towards the bracelet, which you probably don't need it. Now, you've got good flexibility in the bracelet, and this is not a bad thing. This is how these kind of bracelets function, and it just adds to comfort. It's sort of like the SKX Jubilee style bracelet, which also does that, but again, it's known to be a very, very comfortable bracelet. So let's recap. Just looking at the bracelet, female end links, which is the sought after feature, a really good taper, solid links, you know, sapphire crystal with all this really good quality finishing present on the watch and the case, all for £60. And this is why I say it did exceed my expectations. It ticked far more boxes than I believe it should have at this price point. And I think it is a really, really good watch. Now, I would like for them to create one without the Roman numerals. Maybe I'll get in touch, see if you can do a version like that, and also probably remove the Cadisen text. And I think that would just make a perfect looking little dress watch. They have, since this green dial came out almost a few months ago, they've done a whole load of different versions, and you've got a few different color options as well with the case and bracelet. So it's good that they are giving you a lot of options to consider. So let's put the watch on wrist. Now, I have a 6.5-inch wrist, and you know, as I've said, that light shining on all these polished surfaces really does make the watch shimmer, and it makes it look really nice indeed. And I haven't sized it because I plan on giving this watch away in the next giveaway I do. I think it is one of the best value for money watches out there. It is finished really well. Just a couple of niggles which I mentioned, which was around the design rather than anything wrong with the watch. So yeah, I think they've done really, really well, and Cadisen have done this before. They've pulled out a few watches I think they pulled out the dress watch with the Miyota 9015 movement. Again, around £100. Very, very good value for money. I hope to see what more they have in store for us. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to check out the link in the description, and I'll see you on the next video.